Good morning or good evening, depending on when you actually see this. It is probably going to be Thursday, October the 23rd when you see this. Either way, it doesn't matter. I hope you're having a great week and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to read portions of a very interesting article I found online about ranching in Florida. I liked it and I think you'll enjoy it also. It involves two groups of people that I have always had a huge interest in. Native Americans, the indigenous First Nation to the Americas, and ranching. I have ranching and farming in my family going back quite a while, many generations, so I have a natural interest in that also, and this was really interesting, so hopefully you'll find an interest in it also. I apologize for the background noise. I am in a popular spot near where I live, so you may hear some background noise. I apologize for that, but I'll try to speak louder than the background noise. This is called Oldest Ranchers in America Who Drove Out the Spanish Mark 500 Years of Cow Keeping in Florida. See, I told you it would be interesting. There's no video associated with this, but there are some really nice photographs that go along with it. And I hope you will go and follow the link that I'll put in the description box and read the article because it's really interesting. So here we go. The oldest ranchers in America are actually the native Floridian Seminole tribe, who carry on that legacy today by receiving top dollar for their cattle. This decade marks the 500th anniversary of the start of Seminole ranching, which began back when their ancestors captured 20 head of cattle from the landing party of a famous Spaniard looking to settle Florida for the crown in Madrid. There are hair-raising, tear-jerking, page-turning stories of the lives and times of Native American tribes across the country. But one nation that maybe doesn't get the billing it deserves are the Seminoles. That is true and could be said of more than just one First Nation than the Seminoles, certainly for the Seminoles. These Everglades dwellers inherited a cultural tradition 5,000 years old and wrote a rich history of both resisting colonialism and living off of a different kind of land to the Indians on the plains. The course of their story was forever altered when, in 1521, Juan Ponce de Leon, a Spanish conquistador, landed in Florida with a mandate to set up a Spanish colony on the peninsula. I weren't too keen on that. The Spanish ancestors, the Seminoles' ancestors, known today as the Calusa people, violently resisted the settlement attempt and drove the Spaniards off. Ponce de Leon died of his injuries. The colonization was abandoned, and the reward for the Calusa were 20 head of Old World Andalusian cattle, which, according to a story in Successful Farming, which is where this article originated, thrived in the Floridian climate. They immediately took to raising them, and the cattle did really well, said Alex Johns, a Seminole cattleman whose ancestry goes back to those early times. It was just great cattle country with lush grass and warm temperatures. Those Native Americans were my ancestors, and we've been raising cattle here ever since. Bison lived in Florida before Ponce de Leon's arrival, but the natives had apparently hunted them almost to extirpation or extinction. The Calusa celebrated the cattle as a return of the bovid to their lands. These would develop to become the famous Florida cracker cattle, a beautiful heritage breed that the Calusa would have reared and which remain today the official state heritage cattle breed. I did not know that. More than 100 years after they first got their hands on the Spanish herd, a legendary Seminole chief who came to be known as Cowkeeper amassed a herd of some 1,000 cattle in central Florida. One story goes that Cowkeeper's herds fed both armies during the American Revolutionary War. Very crafty. And whatever the truth of that story is, many Seminole ranchers today refer to themselves collectively as cowkeepers. I won't read the entire story. Hopefully you'll go to the article and read it for yourself, but it is very interesting. goes on to say, led by the medicine man known as Abiaka or Sam Jones, around 500 Seminoles refused to leave during the Trail of Tears, when the Indians were during the forced migration or removal of First Nation peoples to Oklahoma. Around 500 of them refused to leave and isolated themselves in the Everglades with their herds in the depths of the swamps until shifting opinions and priorities led to an end of the persecution from that earlier area. Good on them. And thank God they were able to do that. Starting in the 20th century, the descendants of those 500 holdouts began a counterattack of sorts, reclaiming through legal challenges around 80,000 acres of land in Florida and obtaining recognition as a tribe in 1957. Also good on them. All the while, the tribe maintained their tradition of cattle herding, which was already hundreds of years old by that time. In the 1920s, the Seminole Tribes of Florida Co-op was founded in the collective benefit of the cattle ranchers in Florida. Today, that co-op includes 68 families who ranch 10,000 head of cattle, over half of whom are owned by women. What you may not have known, I did know this, this is not uncommon in Native American tribes, is the Seminoles, like many others, are a matriarchal society. We go by our mother's ancestry, John's told Successful Farming. Part of that is because of all the wars we fought. Men don't live very long, which is kind of funny, but not really. Johns is the executive director of the entire agricultural side of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. He has 150 cows of his own in the co-op herd and another 350 in a herd on land leased from the government. While the original Andalusian cattle the tribe captured were bred for meat and milk production, today the Seminoles receive premium prices for the breeding of part Brahma and part Angus cattle for their genetics, both focused on growth and heat tolerance, the latter of the two emerging as critical consideration for cattle ranchers in various parts of the world. Now, this article was obviously in a trade journal, but I found it very interesting and a story of perseverance. You know, we don't read a lot about First Nation or Indigenous, Native American, whatever you want to call them, people today. That is a positive story. And this, as I like to put on my channel, is positive news, positive stories. This is a very positive story. They are thriving. They do have issues like most First Nations tribes, but they are doing very well in regard to this particular segment of their lives, ranching. And so this is a positive story, and I thought it was very interesting, and I was hoping that you would also. So I will read a couple of quotes about perseverance that I found interesting, that I think have to do with this, and that will be it for today. Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it's done. Walter Elliott, perseverance is not a long race, it is many short races, one after another. Through perseverance, many people win success out of what seemed destined to be certain failure. Benjamin Disraeli. Benjamin Franklin said, energy and persistence conquer all things. And here is a good Japanese proverb, fall 7 times and stand up 8. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't include something from the Bible. Let us not get tired of doing good, for we will reap at the proper time if we don't give up. Galatians 6:9. But as for you, be strong. Do not give up, for your work has a reward. 2 Chronicles 15:7. I hope that you found this entertaining and interesting. I hope that the quotes that I read to you guys each day give you some motivation and some hope to keep going. Maybe even to go out into the world each day and help other people. That really is the point of everything we do, because we're here to help other people, to set a good example for other people, and to go out and help other people. Remember, God is real. He loves you. He's everywhere that you could ever want to be, everywhere that you find yourself, even if you don't want to be there. God is there with you. I hope I'll see you tomorrow, and I love you.